Hi and welcome to another Tiger Shark Studios tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to cover skeletons, rigging and weighting and control systems. So let's get started. You can see here I got a character I built a couple of months back called, I've just called him the Flight Pilot. And if I just switch him on, see he's got some texture in there. I just switch on the right editor, you can see that there you go, see he's already UV mapped, so if ever I want to create a texture for him I can do that afterwards, but right now he's ready to be rigged. So first thing you've got to do is I've got to go back to my four views. I'm just going to do a shift F just to focus on all four views, and in my side view I'm going to create skeleton, and then I'm going to manipulate it in the front and the perspective view to get the bones into the right place. So the first thing is right click, make sure oops, let's try and focus, there we go, focus it on that one, and then going to now say animation, skeleton, joint tool options, just going to look at what my settings are, just going to hit reset and see they're all default. And now what I'm going to do is zoom in and I'm going to create a skeleton for the arm. Actually, let's do a skeleton for the leg, and the reason I say that is because I want to do the arm with the side but in conjunction with the top. So I'm going to start off with the leg first. So let's click once at the hip, to the knee, go down to where the ankle would be, and then I can actually incorporate the ball of the foot and the toe. So if I say ball, toe, and then hit enter, see my first leg is there. And what I'm going to do is just assess it. And you can see because I've got my settings with the axis to the object, you can see that the object axis is pointing down the arrow, down the center of the bone. And what I'm going to do is just click on logo. Actually, before I do that, if I click in, right click in the perspective and say shading, X-ray joints, that allows you to see the bones regardless of the shading methodology for the character. So if I switch this character to sorry, if I press number 5, which is just grayscale, 4 wireframe, and or 6 to textured, you can still see the bones. And so let's right click on the side view, and what I want to do now is just position this joint so it's inside the leg. So what I'm going to do, I've got a choice, I can click on it and just drag it, and you see because I'm dragging it as a joint, because it's apparent, it selects the bones beneath it and brings those with it. And that's because the ankle, the ball and the toe are all children to the knee. But if I want to just move that joint on its own, if I put my finger on D, I can actually position it on its own. Okay, and you can do that for any bone. Okay. Now if I click on the first node, which is at the hip, you can see that that selects everything else, that's the parent. And if I click on local, you see that the axis changes from pointing down the center of the bone on the object to the local axis, which matches this axis in the corner. If I click to world, it should stay the same. Okay. So what you'll find is that as I progress, I might switch between object and local depending on what result I want in my joints. Okay, so that's the leg. Let's create the arm now, so I can do last command or just click here. And for the arm, I'm gonna go shoulder, elbow, wrist, hit enter. I'm gonna come over to the side view and I'm just gonna drag it over. and position the shoulder right in the center there. And if I use the down arrow or just click on the bones, I can actually position the other joints. There we go. If I click on object, you can see that the object node is pointing down, and the local is actually pointing in that direction. There you go. Okay, so that's the arm. The hand I'm going to do separately afterwards. And now let's look at the center mass. In fact, let's just go to the leg, move the leg over in the front view. Go down to the knee, move the knee over. Ankle, there you go. That lines it up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the spine. Okay, so for the spine again, last command. In the side view, click once at the pelvis, and I'm going to go up because I want to end at the neck. So just going to look at how many edge loops and try and make sure that whenever I put down the next joint, it's near an edge loop that will allow me to have a nice bend in motion when I start animating. So put 2, 3, 4, 5. Enter, and there's my spine. And again, if I go in, I can hold down D and just reposition them just to where I want them to go. And now what I could do is just add all the extra bones. So I'm going to add the bones for the hands, or at least the gloves. And because these are kind of just simple mitt gloves because it's a low poly character, just going to make sure they're in the right place. So last command, and I'm going to say 1, 2, 3 for the thumb. Last command again, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the finger. Now you notice how my joints look absolutely massive in comparison to the polygons. If you want, you can go to display, polygons, sorry, display animation, joint size. If I hit reset 100%, you can see that it pushes the size even bigger. You can make them bigger. I want to make mine even smaller, so let's bring it down to, and just do 0.1. Okay, and that makes all the bones 0.1 in size. In fact, might be a little bit too small. Let's try that again. Display, animation, joint size. 0.2. There we go. Let's put this up here for good measure. And what I'm going to do now is just again reposition the bones, but this time try and make sure they go inside the mesh. Okay. See that thumb is way over there. Let's put that right position. And because we got another part of the hand there, what I can do is, instead of creating a new bone, I'm just going to select at the parent, which is this first node here, and then do a Shift D and position that bone over there. In fact, actually I'm going to delete that. If I select this knuckle and do a Shift D, I can get a bone which comes across and is still connected to the original one. And then all I have to do is go down to this tip, delete that because we don't need it. And I've got bones ready to go there. If I select that joint and hold down D, there you go, just repositioning them. And now I'm going to connect these joints together. So if you select the wrist joint, hold down shift, select the thumb parent joint and say P, that connects them. And if we check the arm, you can see that I've got, looks like I've broken one of my, I'm going to just go to perspective view, press number 4. Looks like I've actually broken one of my arm joints. I'm going to just do Control Z there. And there you go, yeah, so I actually did that wrong. What you should do is you always select the child first, which is the thumb joint here. I hold down shift and select the parent joint second and do P, and that connects. Now you can see that I've got actually a couple too many joints in my thumb, so I'm going to just delete that one. Hold down D, there you go. And I now have an arm with a hand connected. Okay. At this point what you want to do is I'm just going to say File, Save Scene As, and call this one number 10. Because you always want to make sure you've got a good copy as you work, otherwise you could easily crash and lose your file. So you can see I've got an arm joint, leg joint. What I'm going to do is just create a bone for the head now. There you go. Last command. It's going to go, start here and go 1, 2. That's for the jaw. And then I'm going to select the jaw and just do Shift D. That duplicates it and creates a new joint, which I'm going to put to the top of the head. And then to connect it up, select the bottom of the head, hold down shift and select the top of the neck, and do P, and that creates a new joint which is technically connects the spine to the head via a neck joint. If I just hold down D, I can reposition these joints. There we go. And now all I need to do is just connect them all up. Now the cool thing is, because I've got an arm and a leg created, I don't need to create a second leg or second arm. I can actually just mirror these across. And to do that, I click on this arm here, which is the shoulder, and I say skeleton mirror joint options. I can tell it to mirror across the YZ. I want to mirror the orientation. I do apply, there it is. Do the same for the leg, apply. And you've now got legs and arms for the other side of the character. And then all we need to do now is connect them up. So we need to create the clavicles, which is technically the collarbone. And again, it's child first. So if I select this shoulder, hold down shift and select this joint here, and say parent, creates a clavicle bone across the chest. Do the same at the hips. Leg 1, leg 2, hold down shift and say bottom of the spine and parent. And you get a pelvis joint, and that's technically, that pelvis joint is your main parent joint to the whole skeleton. Okay, so at that point what you should do is save your file and just take a quick break, and when we come back we'll prep for the second section.